was thinking about something. Like, you know how all these people talk about the Matrix and like how, like, oh, let's get out of the Matrix and like, like the Matrix, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and then, but people really still are so caught up in what we consider the Matrix. So I just find that really funny how there's this like resistance towards, I guess, being in the Matrix and having this idea that it's kind of almost like the movie, and we're totally living in a simulation, right? But then when it comes to it, everyone is working a 9 to 5, and everyone's participating in keeping that machine alive and destroying the environment essentially. And it's like, who is really willing to? And I'm not shaming people for it, because I mean, we are all to some extent part of that machine, right? Like, I mean, we pay taxes, or right now, I'm still using, now again, I'm using some money, and you probably are as well. So chances are that we are all kind of a part of it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I just find it kind of crazy that we have this. Some people preach it more than others, but we have this understanding, but we're not necessarily living up to it. And yeah, it's just really baffles me that we are still in a place where we seek actively to participate in that, and whether that be having, a 9 to 5, or it be like the things that we do, such as contributing to animal agriculture, at least when in those countries where that's really prevalent, like in Europe or in the States, or whether it be like participating in other kinds of cruelty to animals or the people around us, humans, the forest. But yeah, it's like there's this kind of almost like a disconnect, just as there's a disconnect between, the killing animals and, the agriculture. There's also like a disconnect in our perception between living in normal culture and like, the idea of the Matrix versus us not acting on that and still being in the system. I guess what I'm trying to say is just that I feel like there's a sort of disconnect there in the way that we have the understanding of that particular thing, but then we're living completely different lives, right? And we don't actually act on it. And it's like, again, not to shame anybody, because we all we're all caught in that game, but it's just like, who's gonna act on it? Who is gonna like be the ones to make the change? Who's gonna do that? Because it seems that we all have an understanding of the Matrix, but we don't. It's few people who actually do anything about it. And of course, there's two kinds of people. There's the people who deny, right? And I'm not casting any shade on those people, but I'm saying there's the people who deny that, though they know it's true, just because it's too much for them. And then there's the people who knows that it's fucked, right? And they often become conspiracy theorists or whatever, and they're the ones who knows that this is fucked, but they still don't do anything. So those are the two kinds of people who don't do anything. Then we have the people who are trying to do something, which I guess I'm kind of in that category. And then we have the people who do something. And I think if you're in the category of trying to do something, you're as good as someone who is doing something that works, because trying is better than, in my opinion, trying is better than not doing anything. And if you're trying, I mean, someday something will blossom and come out of that. If you really put your effort into trying to do something, I think at some point, inevitably, some flower will bloom from that, like something will come from that. I think inherently you can't fuck up by doing something to change things. The biggest fuck up you can do is just sit on your butt and not do anything, I think. Yeah. I don't know, it's just weird to me. Like, it's just strange.